Hey guys, it's Venom coming at you with another video. Today I'm going to be showing you all a couple of PvP builds I like to run while out in open Cyrodiil and in Battlegrounds. Especially during the White Strakes Mayhem event, you may really enjoy this build. I've been having an absolute blast running around on it, just blowing people up. Let's take a look first at our character sheet. This is with our potion equip. We got over 33,000 max magicka, 24,000 health, 13,000 stam, 1371 mag recovery, 3,510 health recovery, 884 stam recovery, spell damage 5421, spell crits 33.4, penetration 9404, spell and physical resistances is 25 and 24,000. For the attributes, we have all 64 in the magicka. For the Mundus Stone, we have on the Lover. This is going to increase your physical and spell penetration by 4489. For the food, I'm running Clockwork Citrus Fillet. This is going to increase your max health, health recovery, mag recovery, and max magicka. If you don't want to run this, it is a little bit expensive to run because it takes perfect row to craft it. You can just run Potent Witch Mother's Brew. It's a good choice as well. We have a lot of major and minor buffs. Again, this is two different builds. One of these is going to be a 1-bar setup, and the other is going to be a 2-bar setup. Let's take a look next at our champion tree. For the blue tree, we have Master at Arms. It's going to increase your damage done with direct damage attacks by a total of 6%. Biting Aura is going to increase your damage done with area effect attacks by a total of 6%. Wrathful Strikes gives 205 weapon and spell damage. Untamed Aggression gives another 150 weapon and spell damage. For the red tree, we have Celerity. This is going to increase your movement speed by a total of 10%. Strategic Reserve gives you 30 health recovery for every 10 ultimate you have. Fortified gives 1731 armor. Balanced Vitality, 1400 health. And because we're out in Cyrodiil, the green tree is important out here. War Mount is going to increase the mastery with mounts, removing all mount stamina cost outside of combat. Gifted Rider is going to increase your mount speed by a total of 10%. Steed's Blessing is going to increase your out of combat movement speed by a total of 20%. And Sustaining Shadows is going to reduce the cost of sneak by a total of 50%. Let's take a look next at our armor sets. For the first set we're running, this is Winterborn. This drops in Maelstrom Arena. If you want to farm this, you can just get the pieces. You can run it on normal, it's fine. We are running a Lightning Staff. This is Sharpened Trait, Disease Damage Enchantment. The 2-piece gives Max Magicka, 3-piece Mag Recovery, 4-piece Weapon and Spell Damage. 5-piece, when you deal frost damage, you summon an Ice Pillar that deals frost damage to all enemies in a 3-meter radius. The pillar persists for 2 seconds and reduces the movement speed of all enemies within the radius by 50%. This can go off every 6 seconds, and it scales off of your higher your weapon and spell damage. One thing that makes Winterborn very good is its ability to have burst damage. So whenever you deal frost damage, it immediately triggers this set. It's the only proc condition that's required. So you can have it on tap every 6 seconds. For the 1-piece, you can run any 1-piece you want. This is just what I chose. I have a heavy Anthlomir's Construct, Divines. Everything is Divines, Max Magic Enchantment. For my 1-piece, it gives 129 weapon and spell damage. If you want to substitute this stuff out, your 1-piece, feel free to do it. You may want more resistances. You may want to go with penetration, maybe run Valken Scoria. The reason that I went with the weapon and spell damage, because weapon and spell damage also will boost your heals. Not just your damage, it will do your healing and your damage. The other set that I'm running is Tarnished Nightmare. This drops in the DLC dungeon Bedlam Vale. The 2-piece gives critical chance, 3-piece critical chance, 4-piece critical chance, and the 5-piece. When you deal critical damage to an enemy, glass shards burst 8 meters around them after 1.3 seconds. It deals physical damage to enemies in the burst, and it applies the Sundered status effect. This can occur once every 8 seconds, and it scales off the higher of your weapon and spell damage. So we have Tarnished for the jack, the shoulders, the hands, legs, and feet. The waist is your light piece, Winterborn. And then for the jewelry, we have Winterborn necklace, and Ring. All of them are in Swift trait with weapon and spell damage enchantments. And then our mythic is Oaken Soul. While equipped, you're unable to swap between your primary and backup weapon sets. You gain Minor Berserk, Minor Courage, Major Brutality, Major Sorcery, Major Prophecy, Major Savagery, Minor Force, Minor Protection, Major Resolve, Minor Mending, Minor Fortitude, Minor Intellect, Minor Endurance, Minor Heroism, Minor Slayer, Minor Aegis, and in Power. For the skills, this is what I like to run. Again, feel free to swap some of these out if you like. This is just my personal preference. We have the Regenerative Ward. This is coming from the Summoning skill line from the Sorcerer. I also have the Storm Calling from the Sorcerer, and I have Grave Lord from the Necromancer. So, from the Daedric Summoning skill line, Regenerative Ward, this is going to conjure a shield for over 11,000. Last 10 seconds, it'll heal you for 1879. And it'll grant minor intellect and endurance to you and nearby allies for 10 seconds. It scales off the higher your max health or max magic. For your next skill, we have our Execute. This is Mage's Wrath. This comes from the Storm Calling skill line. This is going to deal shock damage on the initial attack, and then if the enemy falls below 20% within 2 seconds of being struck, an explosion deals an additional almost 18,000 damage to them and all nearby enemies. The next skill is Streak. This also comes from the same skill line. This is going to transform yourself into pure energy. You flash forward, you deal shock damage to all enemies in your wake and stunning them for 3 seconds. Very important, this skill cannot be blocked. Casting again within 4 seconds will cost 33% more magicka. The next skill I'm running is Crushing Shock. This is going to give flame, frost, and shock damage. Each of them deals over 3,500 damage. Enemies hit while casting are interrupted, set off balance, and stunned for 3 seconds. This is your primary source of proccing your Winterborn set because it deals frost damage as part of its attack. So as you do your Crushing Shock, it's going to immediately trigger your Winterborn and fire at the same time. So that allows for a lot of immediate burst damage. Your Glyph is going to fire on your weapon, Crushing Shock is going to hit the target, and it's going to proc Winterborn. So a lot of things go off pretty quick. And your heal, I'm running the Summon Twilight Matriarch. This is from the Summoning skill line. This is going to be able to just deal a basic attack every couple of seconds, and then once you activate it, it's going to heal itself and 2 friendly targets. This is still one of the best heals in the game possible. No reason really not to run this. Some of the passives for the Daedric Summoning skill line, also very important for survivability and sustainability. This is going to help you with getting your stamina and your magicka back whenever you cast one of your Daedric Summoning skills. So every time you heal, it's basically a reduction in cost for the heal. This is going to reduce your ultimate by 15%. It's going to reduce your damage taken 5% while you have a Daedric Summoning ability active. So as your Twilight's out, you just take 5% less damage. This is going to increase your max magicka, stamina, and health 5% for having your bird out. Your Storm Calling, you want to make sure, guys, grab all your passes for your class subclassing skill lines. So the capacitor is going to increase your max health, magic, and stamina recovery by 141. This is going to increase your physical and shock damage by 5%. It's going to increase your damage done against enemies by 1% for every 10% current health they have. And then the Expert Mage is going to give you 432 weapon and spell damage. It provides 108 for each sorcerer ability slotted. So each one of these that's a sorcerer ability that gets added to it. Just make sure, guys, that you also grab your passes from the Grave Lord. This is going to increase your critical strike chance against enemies under 33% health by 20%. It's going to, while your Grave Lord ability is active, your spell and physical penetration is increased by 3,271. And this is going to increase your damage done with damage over time effects by 10%. So, like, even on the 1 bar, when you cast your Grave Lord ultimate here, it's going to trigger these passes. Make sure you do pick these up. Underneath the Destruction Staff skill line, just make sure, grab all your passes that you can. We do have our mixture of medium, light, and heavy, so grab your passes for all 3 of these. Undaunted if you can. Assault and support, since we're out in PvP. If you guys have the ability to unlock these, you definitely want to grab these down through here. Very, very useful. I'm a high elf on this build, so whatever race you are, again, grab your passes. The high elf, in my opinion, for a Magicka character, it's top notch. I mean, for DPS and just taking less damage. For example, when you're using the ability with a channel or cast time, you take 5% less damage. This is going to increase your max Magicka by 2,000. This gives you another 258 weapon and spell damage. Let's take a look at our 2-bar setup.
The right arm. Headed for some.
And our character sheet, almost the same, except for it's got more spell and physical resistances, and penetration is over 12,675. Spell damage is 4974, max magic at 35,000. Good looking stuff. Okay, so for our 2-bar setup, we have Winterborn Lightning Staff, Sharpened Trait, Disease Damage Enchantment on the front bar. On the back bar, we also have a Winterborn Eye Staff, Infused Trait with Power Glyph. It's going to increase your weapon and spell damage by 452 for 5 seconds. This will trigger through your wall of elements on your back bar. The Infused Trait fires every 5 seconds, so you'll actually get it to proc 3 times through this. For the head, we have Mighty Chewed On. This is a monster set. This drops in Runes of Mazatoon. The 1-piece gives 1487 armor, 2-piece 1206 max health, and then you gain Major Resolve at all times, increasing your physical and spell resistances by 5,948. We have Tarnished on the chest, Chewed On for the head and shoulders, Winterborn for the sash, that's your light piece, and then Tarnished for the hands, legs, and feet. And then for the jewelry, we have Tarnished Nightmare. For the necklace, everything's in Swift Trait. It's going to increase your movement speed by 7%. And then for the 2 rings, it's both Winterborn, also the same. The front bar is the same as we were on our 1-bar. We're just going to load up our back bar, and here we have Bound Aegis from the Daedric Summoning skill line. While slotted on either bar, your max magic is increased 8%. You gain minor resolve and minor protection, increasing your physical spell resistances by 2,974 and reducing your damage taken by another 5%. We'll have Blockade of Frost from the Destruction Staff skill line. So when you slam down your staff, it deals damage once every second. It's going to also give you a shield that will absorb from projectile damage, and chilled enemies are afflicted with minor breach, and their movement speed is reduced 40% for 4 seconds. This is very good when you're in tight quarters, a lot of enemies around, and you just put that into the group. Your Critical Surge, this is your source of major sorcery and brutality, and while active, it's also going to heal you for 3,366 health every 1 second. This is from the Necromancer skill line, the Unnerving Boneyard. This is going to put Major Breach on all the targets in the area. It will deal 13,000 plus damage over 10 seconds. It will put Minor Vulnerability, reducing the physical and spell resistances, and increasing the damage taken by 5%. It does it 4.1 seconds each tick. If you consume a corpse on cast, you deal 30% more damage. An ally in the area can grab the synergy on this, and it'll deal frost damage to nearby enemies and healing them for the damage done. We got the bird. You have to double bar your pet when you're on 2 bars. Make sure you do that. And if you want to swap out your ultimate, again, I run the Pestilent Colossus on both my bars because it's really too good not to have. But another good choice for your ultimate to run if you have this, especially if you're fighting against people that are very mobile, moving around a lot, I like to run the Ice Comet from the Mage Guild skill line. This will call down a comet, blast the enemy in the area, dealing over 21,000 frost damage. Yes, this also procs your Winterborn set. It's pretty nasty to run. It'll knock them down, stun them for 2 seconds, reduce their movement speed 50% for 7 seconds, and then after impact, it'll deal more frost damage every 1 second for 13 seconds. Alright, so to round out the rest of this video here, some stuff that I would recommend crafting for your guys, some potions. Like a minute ago when we put on our defensive pot, this is what I was running. This is defensive potion. This is going to increase your physical and spell resistances by over 5,280. 47.6 seconds. You restore health immediately, and your health recovery goes up 30%. I have the immovability potion with stealth detection. This is going to make you immune to knockback and disabling effects for 10.4 seconds. And anybody that's going invisible for a 43.5 meter range, you'll pull them out. This lasts again 15.7 seconds. You restore magic immediately, grants you major intellect, increase magic recovery by 30%. The other potion I like to run is the Get Out of Dodge potions, the Essence of Invisibility. This has major expedition built into it. So really, really good to have on your guy. Alright guys, I'm going to put some footage where I was out playing there at Mayhem yesterday at the end of this video. If y'all want to hang out and check it out, I appreciate it. If y'all enjoy the video, like the build, drop me a like and a subscribe, and I'll try to get back to y'all with another one. Have a good one. You are not safe. Guy, you are not safe. You are. I want you to know that it's about the end for you in a bad sort of way as soon as I get up on this wall.